Hi everyone, Simon here from Sterling Coaching, and welcome to this, the last Monday in the month's Monday's Moment video, which is usually me having what I describe as a rant, but hopefully it's quite a polite and respectful rant. See what that rant is in just a moment. So I missed you last week as I was away on vacation skiing, and I've come back this week with a bit of a story about my frustration with fellow business owners when I had my own businesses, my own construction business, and also with some of the people that I meet today. Thankfully, none of my clients, because my clients are great and I choose and work with my clients very well. But some years ago, when I went along to an event that was run by my local bank, they sent me on a weekend retreat with about 9 or 10 other business owners. And it was all about helping us grow, and it was sponsored by Shell. But what I realised sitting around this table, that there were probably 2 or 3 of us that were growing, that were ambitious, that wanted things to be different. But the rest of the people around that table were flatlining. They'd been doing okay, but then they'd flatlined and they just decided that that was okay. Nothing needed to change. Nothing needed to be done any differently. We're just going to batten down the hatches. We're just going to stay as we are, and we're just going to flatline. And I find that very, very frustrating, because flatlining is just as it is on this image here. It's living death. You know, if you're not growing, as Tony Robbins says, then you're dying. Okay, if you're dying and you're declining, not flatlining, then actually you might do something different. But if you're not willing to change, then that is really frustrating for me, because you end up with just a bad job. And I created my business success curve following this particular event many years ago. And you know, if you can see it there over on the side, you know, we all start out in business. We put something into it. We might put time, we might put money into it, and we at times wallow around trying to make things work, trying to make a change, trying to make things succeed. And I call that Death Valley, because we've put more into it than what we get out of it. And it's up to us about how much energy, how much passion, how much money, how much time we put in, so we can escape out of that. And this is a sigmoid curve if you've not seen it before. Then we go off and we spend and invest and we're successful. But around the corner there is usually change. And in today's world we have lots of large changes that come along, many of which are out of our control. It could be a pandemic. It could be a war in the Middle East. It could be oil prices, fuel prices, energy prices, Ukraine. Lots of things can change. And when they change, we have 3 choices. We can just keep declining until eventually the business can't be resuscitated. We can realize that we need to relaunch, so we go back into that little bit of putting more into it than we're getting out of it, and then we go off on that green curve back into success. Or we can decide just to stay as we are, do nothing differently, and to me that is worse than having a really bad job. Because if you're in that situation, very often what you have is a position where you generally, as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, are being poorly rewarded for all the effort, all the stress, all the anxiety, all the commitment that you're putting into the business, and very often can be worse off in the business than most of those other people around you. It feels awful. You get up every day begrudgingly going and doing your business, going into the office, going and seeing clients. That is where a lot of the people sat around that table were at. And they thought it was okay. But decline can result in change. Relaunching is a great use of change. That's what we need to think of as we come to the end of this month of March, where we've been talking about what can we clear out, what can we do differently. Then what we've got to do is we've got to look at ourselves. We've got to look at ourselves in the business. We've got to think about, are we embracing change? What do we need to do differently? But also look at those that are around us. Look at those suppliers. Look at our team, our staff. Look at our clients. Just have a look and see where they are. Are they something that is going to help you relaunch? Are they something that you need to do something about and change to get out of the decline and relaunch again? Or are they the reason that you're flatlining? And the reason I also want to share a quick story, I met a guy some years ago at a networking event, and he really wanted to change his business. He really wanted to be successful, and he went into his business and he tried to bring in change. He tried to bring in new innovations that would keep them ahead of their competitors, keep them successful in the market, and none of his team embraced it. None of his team would take part in it. They all complained. They all said they would put claims in if he changed their working positions, etc. And that business did eventually kill him, because it wasn't that he didn't want to change, it was because his team and the people around him wouldn't change. So I want you to think, as we go into this final week, these final few days of March, about changing the attitude. If you're flatlining, don't. You can relaunch. You can even get that line going slightly up. It doesn't have to be a massive growth curve. It can just be some kind of growth. So I want you to change the mindset from I can't do it. I can't do anything differently. I can't change. I can't increase my prices. I can't win new clients. I can't cope with all this new law and legislation that's coming out that's affecting my business. To I can. Clear those thoughts, clear that mindset, clear that set of people, clear whatever you need to clear. Be prepared to make the change from I can't do it to I can do it. That's what I want to finish off this month with a Monday's Moment video on, because you can do it. You have the ability, you have the capacity to be able to make a change and avoid that flatlining. Because all those people I spoke to complained about working too many hours, not having enough holidays, people in their business getting paid more than they were. You don't have to be one of those business owners, one of those entrepreneurs. So think about that during the week ahead. Think about what you can change. Think about where you are on that curve and what changes you need to make. And of course, if you know somebody who is in that position, then please share this, like it, comment on it, tag them in it, wherever you see in this video. But please, 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 don't be somebody who is trapped in that business, flatlining, unwilling to make changes, just hoping to ride out the storm and that everything will be okay. I've met those people. I meet those people, and I will meet more of those people as I go through my business coaching, whether I'm coaching businesses or coaching other coaches. I see it across all walks of business and life. Don't allow the business to be the trap, the death of you, or for anybody that you know, neither. That's my challenge to you for the week ahead and for the months ahead as you clear out ready for success. And as always, I'll see you on next week's Monday's Moment video, where we'll be starting a new theme for the month of April. Bye for now.